Welcome, everybody. We are back with another 30 with Justin and Karen. And Karen's joining us today, which is fun. She's been away for the last couple of weeks. She's been very busy, as we have been in the business. But I'm actually really excited for today's guest. Joining me, someone who has spent the more than 40 years caring for other people, both as a nurse and as the heart behind BodyMed Boutique in Burlington. Barb Daize is not only the owner of and operator of BodyMed, but also the founder of the Camisole Project, which is an incredible nonprofit that provides free post-surgical care packages to women facing breast cancer surgery. You've got a deeply personal journey here, I imagine, based on this.
I do.
Barb, why don't you tell us? Like, I think I have this question kind of for a lot of people that get into this industry. Like, what was it that inspired you to become a nurse 40 years ago? And how did your career in healthcare help shape your perspective for the most part on caring for people?
I think right from the get-go, I was a caregiver. Even in my childhood, I was more of, as my mom would call me, a leader or bossy. Um, but I was sort of in that respect like that. But I always loved helping people, whether it was if they were sick or whether just they needed something, or a friend needed a friend or a
Mhm.
chat, and I love to talk to people. So I think I've always been like that. Um, my mother was a very caring person in the sense that, if somebody new came to the neighborhood, she'd be the first one to, send them a card, welcome them, bring them cookies, that sort of thing. So I'm sure I learned from both my parents, but I just think that's the way I started. And then going into nursing was kind of, in a way, that long ago, was one of, as they say, one of the few things you kind of chose. But I really did want to do it. I wanted to do something in the medical field. Originally, I really wanted to be a doctor, but I ended up getting married early and having a couple of kids, and so didn't pursue that path. But I think what I have done has been pretty good, and I've been very happy.
Hilariously, I think Karen and I were talking about this the other day. Like the choices that women had 40 years ago
Right.
ish, let's say, to get into some sort of profession were
Exactly.
different. And when you went to university or college, you had choices that were different than they are today, which sounds strange to say out loud because it doesn't seem like that long ago.
That's right. And it wasn't really, hopefully.
Oh, Karen, you're muted. You're muted. Yep. Hang on. I can't unmute you. You have, there we go.
There.
Technology
So
is
it's
working.
so funny, Barb, because 60 years ago, options were, as I said to Justin, a nurse,
Teacher.
um, teacher, secretary, and what else was there? Anyway, and I jokingly said to the client that was sitting there, I said, and maybe a stripper. Okay, I can't say that.
I
I'm
wasn't
not allowed
really
to talk like
expecting the
that.
conversation to go this direction, but okay. Thanks, Mom. Jesus.
That's funny.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, well, that said, it led you down a path that has basically probably served a lot of people. What personal experiences led you to body med specifically? And what
Well,
is body med? Maybe
What
explain a
is
little bit
body?
about, yeah,
Yeah.
let's explain what body med is.
so BodyMed Boutique is really, in my mind, obviously a place that helps people. More so in the mastectomy industry, someone who's had a mastectomy or breast surgery of any kind. Um, and I wanted to do it because there was lots of reasons I wanted to do it, but it was really a place where I found that there wasn't a lot of these things to be found for people, especially women,
Mhm.
that were out there looking for something. Not nice things. It was like my mom's old granny bra that a woman that had a mastectomy could find. And also the resources and information. People didn't have that 20 years ago like we do now. And even in this day and age, there's not still a lot. There's lots more, and there's the internet and AI and chat GPT and all that sort of stuff. But I think the connection to people is really important when you're going through something as challenging as a breast cancer diagnosis. So really, I started it because, number one, my best friend had breast cancer at a young age and ended up dying of it. And then after she died, my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Wow.
So there's a strong connection there for me, between two people. But then since then, I've had very many more friends that have been diagnosed, and even my small group of friends that I've known since high school that still all live around Burlington. There's like three of them that have had breast cancer. So yeah, it's very, very personal to me, and it's very important that I continue the journey, the legacy as I age, and
I,
help people.
I find it very interesting because I've gone through a bit of a hormone thing myself, and my wife, obviously being her age, she's gone through some menopausal type stuff.
Sure.
And the hilarious part about it is again, speaking of like context of things, in today's day and age, finding support for female help like that is so difficult. I was like ushered in the door with a red carpet, like, here we go. Yeah, let's do this. And my wife had to like dig and search and fight to try to figure out resources to help her with her menopausal symptoms. And
Absolutely.
and I find like I guess that must be similar in that sort of breast cancer area, in that you couldn't find anything that was suitable to help with the scenario that we're talking about, and so you just stepped up and created it.
Right. And I wanted to create it, because of all the people that I've talked to over these years saying that, where do I go for this? How do I find out this? Why am I not getting a specific test? So in some of my other works that I've done, which was working at a breast cancer agency and working at hospitals and then doctors' offices, I learned a lot through there. And so we do kind of focus on advocacy a lot as well at the store, because when someone comes in, they don't just come in and buy something. They come in, they're there for a good hour at least,
Mm.
talking to us, especially coming in for the Camisole Project. So there's a lot of different areas to my business that I wanted to have, because I didn't want it to just be this retail store that you walk in and you can buy a bra. I wanted it to be a supportive, caring, personalized environment that actually even the people that work there know a lot more, because they've either been through breast cancer or they've had a family member. And every single one of my employees either has had breast cancer or has had a family member with breast cancer. So
That's
they kind
amazing.
of know a little bit more about when you walk in that door, how you're feeling.
What is the process like? I mean, obviously it must be, just in general, having gone through what you have to go through to end up being in your store for that purpose
Right.
is daunting and scary and all the things.
The issue store. Or-
Where is it?
Yeah.
Mount Royal Plaza, just up Brant Street.
Right, right.
Hmm.
Right. So the women that have come through your door have gone through a lot to begin with anyway. Even just taking steps to come through your door must be difficult because they're embarrassed and they're whatever. What are the steps that you take when you're in the store to kind of overcome some of those challenges?
Well, Justin, I think you're exactly right. I think it is overwhelming, because there's so much information given to them that they might not never heard about, they might have never been exposed to. And even like you say, walking through the door is very difficult. It's sometimes the first time they start that real emotional roller coaster, because they're like, oh my God, I have to walk in here and this is actually happening to me.
Yeah.
So, between just being compassionate and bringing them in maybe to a private room if they're upset, or just being nice, just being really nice and compassionate to these people, and saying, we've got your back. We're going to help you through the whole journey. But let's start here. And that's usually when they're coming in, usually with their either by themselves because of looking on the internet, or a friend, or surgeons. Most of the surgeons in Burlington refer to us because I've been around a long time, and we have a good reputation with people, and they know that we will look after them, not just one time. We have people that come back all the time, and we help them through their whole journey with breast cancer and beyond.
And this is post medical care for the most part, is where you're seeing them. Yes. Or
Usually,
correct me if I'm wrong. Cause I honestly
yeah.
don't know about the
I would
process.
say on a general basis, yes, but a lot of them come in to collect the free Camisole package. The Camisole Project is something I started 12 years ago, and really out of a necessity that women, when they have surgery, most of them have drains. And these drains are sort of hooked up in and around your underarms or under your, breast area. And there was sort of nowhere to put them. You pin them onto your clothing. And so I thought, for goodness sake, that's just barbaric. There
Mm.
has to be a garment. So one of my suppliers had a garment that had drain pouches. So I thought that's a perfect thing. So I got them in the store, but retail cost for the person would have been about $65 and they would wear them for a few weeks. So I thought that's just not fair. So I got a few of my volunteers that I'd known from previous work came together. They started a little fundraiser. Long story short, we made $800 and I just bought camisoles and started giving them away. And since then, over these last 12, 13 years, it's evolved into a project in the sense that they now get a Because.We.Care package, which is a bag they can take to surgery with things like toothpaste, toothbrush, socks, baby wipes because they can't have a shower, a camisole or a drain belt. And there's a journal and a pen to write down appointments. So there's lots of different things in the bag that they get all for free. And that is because we either fundraise with the help of many, many businesses in Burlington, or we have donations from many, many people and businesses. So it's a great, I think we see a lot of people coming in first like that pre-surgery, which kind of helps them because we can give them a cami bag, tell them what's in it, fit them with the camisole, and then they're talking to someone who's usually either been through it or they might
Mm.
talk to me who has a bit of experiences in the medical part of it. And so they get a lot of their information, I believe, from us because the doctors are busy. There is a lot of busyness in those doctors in town, and a lot of times they don't have time to tell them everything. And then they're sort of left to look on the internet or ask questions somewhere else. And I think we fill a huge gap there for them.
How do you do your fundraising for that project?
Well, we used to have huge galas and fundraisers at different places before COVID, and I had a lovely group called the Divas that helped me out. And then after COVID, it sort of went. We kind of didn't have a lot, but we had a major fundraiser at a Jake's in Burlington,
Love
and
Jake.
raised a lot of money. And so that's kind of was tiding me over. And then we've had a few little ones, so that's sort of how we do it. But recently we've been very, very lucky because we work with groups in the community like Socks for Hope, and so we're getting a lot of items donated to us, which has helped a lot. So there's just so many people I could thank that have helped out, but that's basically how we do it.
And I'm assuming that you've got some sort of link or something on your website that we'll put it up below that will allow people to donate if they so
Yes, there
choose.
is a Camisole page on our website
Beautiful.
that tells about what we do, what you get in the package, and how it
I'm
works.
sure Andrea would have put that down below in the chat somewhere, so we can make sure
Yeah.
we'll make sure that we funnel some people your way.
Right.
Yeah, of course, anybody that's dealt with this in their life that knows about this sort of thing, that knows the pain and the stress and the struggle and even the emotional stress of you're different now,
Right.
and people have to go through the process of accepting that you're different as a human being. And that's a difficult thing. And it wasn't a choice, right? When
No,
you
it's not your
choose to
choice.
fix your face or do the things that celebrities do to their faces nowadays, that's a
Right.
full on choice. Going through what a mastectomy, a double mastectomy, whatever, those are not choices. Those are health related,
Yeah.
you are forced to do
Basically
those
to
things
save
to
your
deal with.
life.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
save your
yeah.
life.
Right.
So it's the similar to a soldier losing a leg or something like that. It completely impacts your mental state as to who you are
It
as a
does. It's overwhelming. It's
yeah.
emotional. It's a grieving process. You're losing a body part, like you say,
Mhm.
just like losing a leg. I often use that when I'm talking to people, saying, because I think some people just think, oh, especially women, I got to get through this for my family, for my this, for my husband, my partner, and I got to get back to work. All the things that we do. And we always try and say, you've got to take time for yourself. You have to grieve this, and you
Yes.
have to get some information. We help them advocate for things. And, there are resources that we can give them too, like the nurse navigators at the hospitals and that sort of thing. And I know a lot of people and different support groups around that we can send them to if they need more support than maybe somebody else does. Everybody's different in how they deal with it. So we have to go with whatever somebody wants. We're not giving them medical advice. We're just giving them options of things they might think that they need or they need to do.
And this is completely emotional more than anything. I mean, the physical side of it is they're safe now. They've had the surgeries and it's just completely an emotional response to their body changing, right? So it's
Sure.
everyone's a little different.
Sure. And there's also which a lot of people don't think about at first, but there's a lot of thinking ahead because,
Right.
what if it comes back? What then? Will this be good? Will I be done with this for life and I'll be fine? And, we're seeing a lot of younger women these days with little children. So it's very hard for them to think, oh my gosh, I had kids. Like, now what? What do I do? So you have to deal with a lot of things like that.
Do you have like a little checklist or like a top 2 tips for people that are just going through it of things that they would like, just something just to pop off your head to say, this is something that I've learned that people have really benefited from?
Well, I think support, I would say support is absolutely number one. We have had people come in that don't want to tell anybody and such, and that's their choice, of course. But I always advise them to reach out to either us, somebody at our store, which is very private, or to a support group like Wellspring or Wellwood, because they have, one-on-one groups, they have group therapy, the social workers at the hospital. I think really number one, support is very, very important through all of this. And just trying to understand that it's okay to cry, it's okay to grieve. You almost have to get through the process and to look after yourself, be kind to yourself, because a lot of people still have to do lots of things. You might have a single mom who's going through breast cancer with 2 kids that maybe doesn't have a lot of family around, and what does she do? Where is she going to go for help? So the support groups are great for that. And our staff, and especially me, are always available for people. I give my card to almost everybody, and so do the girls. And even if somebody wants to just call us and ask a question, we're fine. They don't have to buy anything from us. Just call and I'll talk to you. I had a lady, at one point that was very, very depressed, and I talked to her for about an hour and a half, and she called me a couple of weeks later and said, I got a medication. I'm good. I'm much better. Blah, blah, so like there's little things like that we deal with as well. And it's not like, oh, look at us. It's just what we do, because these people are emotional and scared, and scared that they're going to die, really, when they walk in the door. They're scared. So we wanted them to know that there is hope, because we've known so many people. We were just saying this the other day, and all the time I've been there, we haven't seen a lot of deaths. And of course we've seen some,
Wow.
and it's been very sad. Of course, we all know people. But in the big scheme of things, breast cancer is one of the most, researched disease, and they are coming up with treatments. I always said to everybody, I would love to close down my store if they could find a cure. Really and truly, I would. That, I think we're getting there. We're getting closer to lots of things, vaccines and more research. So I'm hoping that one day that will happen.
So Barb, talking about family, talk
Yes.
to us about your family and how, do you have children? Do you have a husband? And if so, how do you handle all this?
Well, if you talk to everybody, they'd say this Barb is too busy, always doing something, always try to, figure out something, help a friend, whatever. That's what I do. I like it. I do have 11 grandchildren.
Wow.
I have a
For you.
this is a second marriage for me. My first marriage, I had 2 children, and the guy I'm married to now has 4. His wife actually died of breast cancer. And so, he understands that quite well, all what I do and how I do it and why I do it. And all the kids are really, really supportive with it. And I actually just moved into a suite at the back of my daughter's house. So we actually live kind of with two of our grandchildren. So we see them a lot, and it's lovely. I love having all the kids. Some of them are out west, so we don't see them as much. But yeah, I think everybody's very supportive, and my daughter is actually wanting to continue my legacy when I retire. We hope. Don't know if that will happen, but I think that would be really nice. To make sure that it's
This is another week that goes by that we do an interview like this, and we have someone that is genuinely, yes, I understand there's a retail component and you're going to make money from some of these sales, but spending the time you spend on the phone with people and the time you take just to make those sales, I mean, it sounds like you're spending an hour or two with people just to make a $30 sale or a $50 sale or whatever. I mean, this is above and beyond what what the call of duty is for this particular thing, right? And I think you've taken it to another level. And it just inspires me to chat with people like you that so wholeheartedly just want to help others.
Thank
And I keep
you.
saying it every week when I have people like you on, where it's like, I just wish this was our default setting for the world,
Right,
right? Because
absolutely.
then things would
Especially
be
now.
so much different.
Yeah,
Yes.
especially now.
And you know what? That's the whole point too, I think, is, you want to teach your children to be caring and
Yeah.
loving and helpful and hopeful for a world that's, in a bit of disarray right now. And yeah, I think that's what we all want, really deep down.
Mm.
Uh, and I hope to continue this as long as I can. I
Do you
really.
have a story that like a one that pops in your mind of someone who was genuinely excited and thankful for the support, so like a success story from one of your clients?
Um, to be honest, Justin, there's a lot. Like,
Mm.
there's a lot of good stories and hopeful stories. I think there's been a lot of people that have, written us or called us, or just we've become friends with some of our clients. I hate to call them clients because they have really become acquaintances and friends, and very much so. The ladies and a few men that have come to see us,
Mhm.
have just, we hear they come because they come back and see us. We do hear that they got through all their treatment and they've now got maybe a new job or maybe this because they've decided, I went through this hell and I want to do something like I want to do, or I want to travel the world, or, I
I
see a
want to
lot.
feel sexy again. Who
Right.
gives a shit? You know what I mean? Like, I think that's
Absolutely.
part of it, right? Like, I think there's just like, I just want to
Absolutely.
be normal.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? They are normal. They just had
Yeah.
a different thing that happened to them, and
Yeah.
they got to get through that, and they have to look at themselves as good. I do have a story like that. One lady was uh had nobody around, like I was saying, and she was just so thankful because she did get a lot of support from us, and she ended up going to a different support group, and she's now thriving. And that's probably 15 years ago, just almost 15 years ago, that we probably, when I first opened, actually. Our 15th anniversary is next year, so it's pretty close to 15 years that she probably came in and still comes to see us. So it's nice to know that. It's nice to also tell those stories to the young girls that are coming in, to say, you know what, we have actually women that we know that are 20, 30, 40 years through this disease. They're fine. They're doing great.
Mm.
They're working. They've got grandchildren. Like, you have to think about those things. And the unfortunate part is, you see the not so nice stuff too. And we did, at one point, this just comes to mind. It's not maybe the best fabulous story, although she's doing okay as far as I know. The mom came in with the daughter, and we thought the appointment was for the mom, and it was actually for the daughter. And she
Oh,
was
Wow.
15.
15.
Wow.
It's the youngest person we've ever seen.
Wow.
Wow.
And she was coming in to get a bra for a prom.
Mm.
And
Wow.
I mean, that day we were all in tears.
Mm.
but but just to show you that, you know what, she was looked after very well at the hospital. Actually, she went to Toronto because obviously a little more information needed and studies and things like that. But um, she was like, she was amazing. The girl, the mom, no, not so much, because she was so scared.
Yeah.
But you know what, the young girl was just, I'm going to my prom, and it was
Yeah.
kind of crazy but cool. And so we've seen everything from those types of things to, to, oh gosh, everything.
Mm.
So it's just really
I find it
touching.
interesting. I find it interesting that you frame the process as having to deal with some grief, because it's a word that has kind of, it comes along with a lot of the negative things and a lot of the things that we do charity work for.
Right.
And I heard an interesting sort of analogy the other day about grief, and I thought I'd share it because just we're in the right moment. And it was something along the lines of, grief is like a stone that's in your pocket.
Mhm.
The stone doesn't get any bigger or smaller for the most part. It's always going to be there.
Right.
What changes is your strength for it. to be able to carry it, whether you get stronger or weaker. That doesn't go away.
No.
People are worried that they're going to lose a loved one and be gone, or lose something and they'll be gone out of their lives. No, the grief doesn't go away. You just get stronger at being able to deal with it, so it doesn't feel like as big a deal down the
Right.
road. And I feel like that's where you come in, is to help with that process of becoming stronger, to be able to deal with that loss that they're dealing with in this moment.
Right. I hope so. I really hope so.
Yeah.
I think that is what a lot of what we do. And like I said, being that there's people in the store that have been through it,
Mm.
they can say, I did go through this. I did go through chemo. Yeah, I lost my hair. It grows back. And you know what? You can do this. You can do this.
And what I love about that is the idea of having those people that have that experience, because I mean, it's like, I don't know that in any scenario, it would just bring down those barriers to say, oh, you've had a loved one, or you've been through this. And it
That's right.
brings down those barriers to create that environment that allows people to move through the process a little easier.
It absolutely does. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I guess, is that part of your hiring grit? You got, hey, have you had cancer? Oh my gosh.
You know what?
That's
It's
crazy.
interesting. I mean, in the back of my mind, yeah, I would, well, that's what I would love. I don't
Yeah.
think I'm allowed to do that.
No, no, no.
But
Yeah.
the interesting part is whenever I have hired somebody, it's almost always been somebody who had cancer or had experience with it. And I mean, obviously, not everybody's going to be fit for that job, depending on how soon or far away from having a cancer diagnosis they are, because I want to make sure they're okay to deal with this as well. It's it's not a hard job. It's a great job, and it's a caring job, but it can be difficult some days. But most days are the people just walk out of there happy and like themselves again, and their shoulders are back. They've got breasts now, and
Mhm.
it's really heartwarming and interesting and great and fun. And there's so many words I could describe it as, because we do have a lot of fun, and we do have a lot of laughs, and we have yeah, we know at the end of the day we have helped several people that day, and probably now closing on to my 15 years, thousands probably of people.
Mm.
I think I have my database is about 5,000 people. So
Oh
Wow.
my goodness.
it's yeah, it's really at the end of the day, we
Kudos to
do
you,
feel good.
Barb. Kudos
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm not
Well,
nobody's perfect, but we really try to help whoever comes in. That's the bottom
well,
line.
there's a couple things I take from that. One, if you're hiring people and everyone's saying they're dealing with cancer some way, somehow, it just goes to show you the breadth and width of that disease and how it touches so many people in this world.
Sure.
It's unreal, right? So there's that. And then secondly, the idea that we've never met before, so
No.
we'll just start by saying that. And hearing your passion and your personality come out when you talk about it, I
Right.
can tell that fun is part of the process.
Hmm.
Right. And I actually love that, because laughter, they always said, growing up, we always said laughter is the best medicine, you
That's
know.
right.
And so if you can't kind of laugh at things a little bit, it doesn't really fly, right? We were dealing with some medical stuff in our family, and we kind of look at it that way, like, it's terrible what we're going through, but if you don't laugh a little bit at, oh my God, that's just ridiculous.
Absolutely. You have to laugh,
It's,
because
yeah,
what's the alternative?
yeah, exactly.
You have to make
Exactly. It's a
light of
dark
some
place.
things and have a yeah,
Yeah, it's a very dark place. Yeah.
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 You got to
You
make
gotta
light of some
stay, you've
things
got
and
to
jokes.
stay positive, and
Yes.
Sure.
that's the key.
So
That's right.
anything on the horizon for BodyMed or the Camisole project that you'd like to talk about? Like any upcoming fundraisers or anything?
Uh,
Nothing yet.
Not yet, nothing yet. We may do one. We may do something for my 15th anniversary next May,
Cool.
because I can't even believe it's that long, but we might do something for that. And the only other thing, which I'd just like to get in here, because
Sure.
I would like to, is yeah, I'm assuming Joelle downtown. Joelle and I have
Yes.
worked
Yeah.
very hard over the last few years, and they've redone the resource room at Joseph Brant Hospital. We helped to make that happen, um, and so that's the other thing. When you talk about the arms of this business, it doesn't just stop at my store. It's like you walk into the hospital and you see there's some needs there, and so we help with those as well, because we want everywhere this person goes to be comfortable. So we do lots of things like that as well. But in general, I don't have anything major planned, other than maybe a celebration and possibly a little fundraiser for the Camisole Project at the same time, maybe on the 15th anniversary. And it's hard to believe because on my opening day, which was in May, is when this second husband proposed to me at my opening of the store.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's going to be kind of bittersweet next May. And yeah, there'll be hopefully a lot of people there. So,
well, let's just say that if there's anyone out there that knows someone or is struggling with this scenario and you're looking for support, we've basically found it for you here.
yeah.
So make a call, go to the store, whatever you need to
Go
do
to
to
the
get in touch with
website.
Barb and her team.
Yeah.
Yeah, go to the website, which will be noted below, and you can do anything you need to do pre-book, just look at it to get yourself comfortable before you head in, because it sounds to me like this is an incredible project, an incredible opportunity for growth and support. And we appreciate you coming on here, Barb. I can't say enough. You know what?
Thank you.
I said this to the last person, and I'll say it to you because I know you're not in it for this, but what you're doing is very unbelievably commendable, wonderful. And so I'm just going to say this. Thank you.
Thank you for having me on.
Seriously.
And I appreciate that.
So,
Thank you.
because you probably don't hear that enough, or maybe you do,
Well,
but there you go. Thank you.
thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, everyone. We
I couldn't do
appreciate
it
your
alone.
time. Thanks for watching today. And we're up against it. So we'll say goodbye for now.
Bye,
All the
everyone.
details for Barb will be below. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next week.